Alright, gonna play game 3 with Deli shortly, so in a few minutes. Um, so the previous games we played, Deli was in bad mental shape and I was in pretty good shape and he had the advantage. Now I'm also a mess, so that's gonna balance things out. Um, hopefully this weirdly swings in my favor, though I guess we'll see. Sorry. Uh, Not to give too much information here, but I can't tell whether I slept terribly last night because I was nervous about playing this game, which I think was part of it, or more of it was that I ate something I shouldn't have and stomach acted up. But I think the combination really doubled up to wreck me. That said, I have some ideas. Now, there's a very good chance Deli changes hands here, but he does stick more than most people, so even considering that, I think there's reason to change. I was at the end of last video, I think I was intending to run this adapted hand, where I switch A828 for 18 A8 and also switch to 7636. And the idea was really to include something that had more play against sevens. But I don't think this was sufficient. And when looking at the hands, I may have mentioned this idea. This has been the hand I've been using. I noticed the pig's hand, which I think I mentioned is very similar to the Deli hand, right? They both have 8197, they both have 2517, they both have an A874 as the level 10. Um, one has a 1523, one has a 4231 as the level 1, but very similar, right? Uh, you know, they're almost the same numbers and they're the same type of configuration of them, just rotated a bit. And then Deli, instead of 4846, ran 5873, but Piggy, as soon as he realized 5873 was available, made a different hand. It probably fits okay here as well. But I was just looking at it and thinking Deli's running a similar hand to Piggy. The Piggy hand's finisher is this 87A4. Maybe that's really good here. So my current thought is to run this hand. I really like my core concept. I still think I'm committed to it, but I need something that can win the fight against leftward sevens and win it fairly reliably. And I think Beard Guy is my card. Doesn't always have it, you know. If he starts like 2517 and 3, that's harder to have coverage of for this hand. But I think with his massive leftward sevens, it means if the right side of the board fills up, it becomes very hard for him to play in the middle row. Sorry, my voice has kind of left me. Um, yeah, hopefully my brain is working. It was in reasonably good shape as of yesterday, and as yesterday has basically extended till today for me, hopefully it's still doing all right. I will appreciate a 7-minute think time for moves. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I should say I don't think like me lacking sleep gives me like a big disadvantage here. As said previously, Deli's got his own stuff going on. This is more evening up, though mine is for much dumber reasons than giving some kind of advantage. But hopefully we can fight through it. And I think I believe in my hand, and I believe in first turn. So I think if I get first turn on this hand, I have real potential to push. It's also a little less directionally weak this way. I do think A874 has a chance to be about as good a sweeper as like an A88, because if he's not running that many 8s in his hand, the 7-4 part is going to actually maybe more reliably take 7s than an 8 would. I can work through elemental, while an 8 does better if it's not touching a wall. And the 4 gives me some captures a 1 or 2 wouldn't. So maybe there's some potential there. That's my concept. I think if I was feeling really like giving up on the whole thing, the Akiyama hand is just like a very reasonable hand. Especially on an elemental rule set, I really like giving myself starter plans in advance. I think it's just difficult to play all on your own when the calculation is as difficult as it is with elemental on. So it's nice to have some intended starters. And the Akiyama hand offers that, and then offers three corners that are decently directed towards the action. I think he did really nicely with that hand. Hand worth emulating on rule sets like this. Um, yeah, I kind of like the piggy hand. I'd feel weird switching to it because it's so close to the deli hand, but I did take an idea from it. I think Sergeant Joe probably is just not the way. It's kind of hard to have a sweeper. This is my problem with the level 9 A9s, is I think they often can't take that extra card, right? Like the A or the 9 can take something, and sure, if it aligns perfectly, the A9 covers. But like, if you need the 9 and the 3 or the A and the 4 to take stuff, you're probably only taking one card at the end, if that, when you need to take two to win a game, quite often. So, and similar for the 9-3-4-9. Like, these are good cards, but they're not always the cards you want to be ending a game with. They're the cards that can create useful advantages on the board for you earlier in the game, rather than sweepers in the end game. I think in some ways that makes them better second turn cards than first turn cards, right? They're going to prevent the opponent's sweepers rather than make your own. So I think it's pretty unlikely I'm going to play a Sergeant Joe hand here. I still kind of like the Unihand idea, but it is very redundant on these sixes, and that could conceivably be a problem. One thing Deli's hand hasn't had is double numbers, like up, down, or side to side. So I've had a little 10 coverage when he's had virtually none. Um, Given that he's had no 10 coverage, that does, I think, make my 10-10-5-1-1 decision a little better, to make sure I have access to all the 10s I can. But I'm not sure that means he should have 10 coverage. He should have double numbers if the cards aren't fitting what he's trying to do. But just noting that it makes me more likely to stick with my intended game plan. All right, I'm gonna pause this babbling until our game actually starts. But Deli was the one who beat this hand. I was annoyed by that. Yeah, I think this one I'm not actually gonna ever run, though worth keeping in mind maybe. And I think the Sergeant Joe hand I'm not gonna run. I'm kind of committed to what I'm doing. The Akiyama is probably actually the most tempting change. Alright, we're gonna pause for a bit, and game should start up in a few minutes for me anyway, but you'll never know because it will be instantaneous. Alright, we're back. We're in card select. Gonna go with the 8-7-8-4 hand. As intended. I think it's worth a try. I think it should line up better with the hand he's using. It gives me more tools to fight it, I guess. Again, there's a good chance he's switching. We talked a little bit about stuff and like just came up with the silliest ways to add up 5 cards to level 27 that we could. And, very clearly we were both considering changing, and you also don't know what people are saying. I don't know if I mentioned this. I don't think I knew last time we played. Yeah, I can't have known. But actually, Deli and Reye played a fake game in the hopes I would spot it and think that was Deli's hand. Now, I did not see it, but Turds did. But he did not pass it along because he's also friends with Deli, and also, I don't know if the friendship was part of it, but thought that would be bad sportsmanship. So it turned out they correctly got their game spotted, but it was spotted by someone too ethical to send me the information. And I didn't see it, so I wasn't tricked, as it were. But I think that's a funny thing to do, and I'm proud of them for doing it. I think that's, a good gimmick. Is everything recording properly? My voice is probably even quieter than usual, but that's okay. You'll just have to deal with it and mash up that volume, I guess. I am sorry about that I don't know how to adjust volume levels, so I can't. So most of my videos are pretty quiet. I don't really know how stuff works. This is why they don't pay us the big bucks. I did say best of luck in the Discord, so hopefully he sees that and knows the game is taken, but it is possible he times out here, because it's possible he went out for a sec, and then we'll put back up, and then I will, I guess, apologize or whatnot. But it is also possible he is looking at cards and thinking about what he wants to change and if something different is appealing or if he likes what he's got. I think the temptation to change for him is partially I am a hand adapter. He knows that, right? I'm going to try to pull out something that's a counter hand. And the temptation to stay the same is those are cards he liked, and that obviously got him a large advantage in the last game. I was very lucky not to lose it. So, there's a case either way. I think it can be difficult to change hands after a game that went in your favor. I usually don't. For instance, between games 1 and 2, I, talked a little about changing hands, but at no point did I think there was much chance I was gonna. I'd really like to get a first turn. I do think first turn is very good. What else is there to say? Not sure. Having switched to 8-7-8-4, I'm now more likely to start on the right than on the left, where I was more likely to start on the left before. And we're in, and we have another second turn. So that's not ideal. But we do have a card that is maybe trickier for him to meet. Okay, let's look at pluses. We should keep those in mind. 4-2-3-1. God, there really shouldn't be cards like this. 4-2-3-1 might be Holy Elemental as well. We can actually go look. But there really shouldn't be cards like this. Like, it's not that there shouldn't be Elemental, it's that all things should be visible at all times, right? That you should be able to look at the board and understand the rules if you know how the rules work. But if we hover over 4-2-3-1, yeah, you can see its element changes. And there's no way to look at that just looking at the board. I can't hover over it and see. So that can get a +1 and 1. I only know this because Delial mentioned it, that he has to keep that in mind. His 2517 can get a +6, but this time his 8847 doesn't have tools, and his 5873 can get a plus, and a whole bunch of squares, 4, 5, and 8. I have a +1 in 5 or 8, and a +1 in 1. A828 is potentially safe in 7. It would also be safe if it landed in 4, or if it landed in 8. So it kind of has that whole part of the board. 8-7-8-4 would be safe if it landed in 1, but not in any other squares. Not intending to take those safeties immediately, but it means my safeties are very much on the left side of the board, which is important to keep in mind. If 1 was occupied, 8-7-8-4 could become safe in 4. In prior games, he has started 2517 in 6 and 2517 in 9. I would think 2517 in 9 is more likely here. But I do generally want the game to be rightward. Obviously, I do not want to use 8-7, 8-4, and 8, but it does give me a capture there if needed, which is something. Still might be a very annoying move to me. Notably, anytime 2517 lands in 9, A828 is no longer safe in 7. I think the elements have once again not worked out how I'd dreamed they would. Note 2621 and 8, even though it has the +1, does not have the capture there. We would need 2517 and 9 to hit an element. My guess is I would reply with 2632 and 3. But the L's aren't amazing for me. He blocks 6 with a 7 facing out. I guess I threaten to land A828 and 5 at some point. He probably doesn't have combos there, so maybe I can get away with this. One thing is my 8-7-8-4 is really well comboed on the bottom row by his 8-8-4-7. So if you imagine some game that goes 9-3-6-2-1-5-4, suddenly my 8-7-8-4 is a really problematic card for me. And I need like 2-6-7-6 and 1 to hold. And sometimes that doesn't hold. But that seems a very plausible path for the game. It's like 2-5-1-7-9, 2-3-2-6-3, 8-1-9-7-6, 2-6-2-1-2, say 5-8-7-3-1, 8-8-2-8, 5. Four, two, three, one, 4, 2, 6, 7, 6, 7. Looks like a tie. But obviously that's trying to see pretty far out. And that always comes with, commensurate ability to mistake things. Just looks like plausible moves, right? Something weird about this rule set so far, or the quarterfinals so far, is in every single matchup, only one player has gotten first turn. Now, in Cow Debonair versus Cliffy, there's only been one game, and Couts got first turn. So obviously someone was going to get first turn, and they were going to be the only one to have had first turn. Alright, we do see 2-5-1-7 and 9. I'll just finish up what I was saying, though I shouldn't. I've now had 3 second turns, and Vid had 5 second turns, which is quite rough. Okay. I do think 2, 3, 2, 6, and 3 is appealing. Kind of think about going in 6 after if they don't interact. Anywhere they drop 4-2-3-1 starts giving A8-2-8 pretty good squares. I think 2-3-2-6 and 3 is like just very logical, and there's not too much else to think about, because if I don't do something like that, I probably want to set up for 8, right? He has this clear threat like last time to go in 6, and that's just a huge pain. And this time I don't have 3. Last time I didn't have 3 because he had the elemental plus 1 and 2. This time I don't have 3 because I don't have an A to the right anymore. But I do like the idea in general of playing on the right side of the board. 8-7, A4 is potentially really good. Anything he puts in 6, I do threaten from 5, right? A8, 2-8 does have captures. He doesn't seem to have combos back. I can play 8 if needed, though, of course, if there's any combo potential, I get in trouble. But I can play there. It is legal. I think 2-3, 2-6-3. I just don't know what else I'd be doing here. Can they play in, say we get the L with cards in 2, 3, and 6. Can they play in such a way that I don't have A8, 2-8, and 5? Because they have a combo in 4. 8-8, 4-7 needs a 10 down, they don't have it. 5-8, 7-3 needs a 5 or 11 down, they don't have it. 8-1-9-7 needs a 1, they don't have it. 4-2-3-1 needs a 6. Is it possible they have a huge setup in 7 against it? I don't think so. Yeah, so I think we're gonna play 2-3, 2-6, and 3. I don't. Next turn we start thinking, but this turn I think don't really have to. And not gonna try to be careful with energy use, right? If I think a move is pretty clear, I'm probably just gonna make it and move on. Which might be, how the Setos or Akiyamas of the world work. I used to play much faster. But I think this position should be okay. Like, not fantastic, but not in trouble or anything. And it's easy to imagine ways the L wins, right? If they go 6, I go 2, they block 5, I take safety in 1. A8, 2-8 is actually an incredible card in that endgame. Right? Like, if they go 4, I can usually go 7 and just be safe. And if they go 8, I can usually go 7. And if they go 7, I can usually go 8, though sometimes 4. So my hope is this is something. One thing to note is if 8-8-4-7 lands in 7, 8-1-9-7 Elena, which also annoyingly covers my 2s if they take their starter with like 2-6-7-6, it had the combo back. But it combos back 8-7-8-4. So my card is trying to play against theirs, but their card plays against mine too. And 8-7-8-4 also has play an 8 there with the plus, but Elena combos back there in 4, and due to the -1, can't be comboed back. Oh, I gotta keep elementals in mind. Let's think about elementals. 4-2-3-1 and 1, or 8-7-8-4 in 1, and 5-8-7-3 in 4, 5, or 8. I think this feels to me like I should be okay. Like this should be okay. Shouldn't be amazing, but it should be okay. One configuration that might land being really important is if 8-7-8-4 is in 5 and A8-2-8 is in 7. Their 8-8-4-7 has no captures in 8. I can imagine some configurations where that's the endgame. I think given that I'm very much going for the Ln2 rather than an Ln8, that kind of position where the top fills up is pretty likely, and the last squares of the game as 4, 7, and 8 seems very possible. If he goes in 8, I play 6. If he goes in 1, 4, or 7, I probably start thinking about using a high level card and grabbing some safety. But maybe I just go in 6. Because 6 is a pretty useful square to me. One thing is, I don't want my 8, 7, 8, 4. I don't want cards in the bottom with my 8, 7, 8, 4. They have the 8 facing up really well covered with 5, 8, 7, 3. So I'm not looking for the game to be downward facing, right? I'm looking for the game to be upward facing. Subtle stuff. It's not always obvious how possible it is to achieve. Kinda gotta go to the bathroom. I think I probably should now. I'm gonna mute. I'll be back in a moment. Now I will mute and leave the camera running. Okay. We used to our advantage that Deli takes his time. And the plan was 2, 6, 2, 1, and 2, right? I think 6 was the natural move for him to make and a good one. There is A8, 2, 8, and 5, but I don't see why I'd use a high level card when I can use a low level card. There is 2, 6, 7, 6 in 2, but see my previous comment. Alright, I guess we'll calculate a bit. 2, 6, 2, 6, and 2 makes it 5, 5. If they go 5 with, I guess 8, 8, 4, 7 is kind of interesting, because then 5, 8, 7, 3 covers my obvious move in 1, but then I can probably Well, I'm not sure exactly what I do there, but I'm sure I'm okay because 4-2-3-1 is still in their hand. Can they use 4-2-3-1 dangerously? If they put 4-2-3-1 in 5, I play in 1, and again, I think A8-2-8 is a really good card in that endgame. If they play in 5, no, that's what I just said. If they play in 1, then I have to use A8-2-8 in 5, but I don't think I can be losing there. Specifically because of the element in 8. Otherwise, I might, right? Because it's 5-5. They go in 1, they're up 6-4. We go in 5, it's 6-4 us. They go in 4, it's 5-5, and we have to play 2-6-7-6 in 7. But they can't take that. So we do get the tie there. I think that's the critical line. It's possible I don't have to play 5. Maybe I can start A7, A4, and 4. Note their card in 1 has a +1 because that really shouldn't be that way. At least the 5-8-7-3, it's apparent what 4 elements it has. Because that really should be everything. Yeah, it's hard to come up with another candidate move that's very appealing besides 2. So I'm probably just going to play 2. Does 2-6-7-6 have any extra point? I don't think so. And again, that's a card that's useful in 7 and one of the critical lines. Can they go 4? Four is interesting. But A8-2-8 is always really good at the end. Or is it? Maybe his idea is 4. I think I'm okay there. I think I go 7. I think I go 7. Okay. We're going to make the move. 4 is a little tricky. 8 is also, but my 8-7-8-4 is really good if it's just an up-down game. I should have checked 8 more seriously, but it's hard to think 8's scary. I think 4-2-3-1-4 is the critical move. Because 8-7-8-4 can kind of sweep my stuff. For instance, if I go in 1, he has 5-8-7-3 and 5. And 8-8-4-7 then does sweep my stuff because A8-2-8 is for once not safe in 7 at the end there. So that's the thing I have to be really careful on. Yeah, but I think on 4-2-3-1 and 4. And if I go 5, they go 1, and it's 5-5, and I have too much to defend if I wanted to flip Elena. So I think I have to go 7 there. I think A8-2-8 and 7, which is safe once 4-2-3-1's out of their hand. And then I'm up 6-4. If they go in 1, I can go 5, right? I can just about go 5 with 2-6-7-6. It's very close. It's very close, but 8+3, 7+5, 8+7, 15, 12, 11. It's very close. 4-2-3-1 and 4 is scary, and we'll have to be very careful there. I think this is not as scary as last game. I thought this wasn't going to be scary at all. It actually is kind of scary. He's oriented the cards quite effectively. This is a huge pain. We're in good shape against 1 and 5. I didn't actually ever check 7, but I think 4 is the move that's scary. But this shouldn't have been a scary position. It's very annoying that it was. It's also 5, 8, 7, 3, and 4, but I don't think that can be a problem. Because then A8, 2, 8 can land usefully in the bottom row. These have not been super fun games for me. This one, I think I kind of auto-played into a tie, but not as comfortable a one as I would have liked. Like, my moves all felt very straightforward, very like, this should be correct. And yet, it's an annoying position. And if 4, 2, 3, 1, and 4 is dangerous, that might mean there's other dangerous stuff too I haven't looked for. And so, well, I think I hold there. Whatever he plays, I'm going to have to spend a bit of time checking everything. So we are going to get in some calculation. As much as we're trying to minimize it and hope we can just have our hand make magic happen. Anything happening in the Discord? No. People have been trying to solve my puzzle that I put. It is a ridiculous puzzle. I don't understand the answer. Like, I haven't spent a lot of time trying to understand it, but I will say I don't understand the answer, which is confusing to me. But got private message some questions about it. I'm trying not to give the answer. I should send a response there. One sec. Can't give the answer right now. Or yet, I guess. Alright. I don't know. Okay. It goes in 4. So this was also a kind of tricky line, right? Because we can play A8, 2, 8, and 5. And we have to check all the moves. Okay. A8, 2, 8, 5. We're up 6, 4. We capture both. If they go 5, 8, 7, 3 in 4, they capture one thing back. It's 5, 5. And we play 2, 6, 7, 6 in 7 is our only tie using the element to hold the tie. Okay. If they play 8A, 4, 7 in 4, we can take with 8, 7, A4. If they play 8A, 4, 7 in 7, we can play in 4. If they play 5, 8, 7, 3 in 7, we can play in 4. If they play 5, 8, 7, 3, and 8, we can play in 4. And if they play 8, 8, 4, 7, and 8, we can play 8, 7, 8, 4 in 7. So A8, 2, 5 should tie. Now we look for better. 8, 7, 8, 4 in 4. If they play 8, 8, 4, 7 in 8, we can block 7 and we tie. But that's just barely tying as well. Is there a comfortable way to tie here? Not that it matters. I think we'll just play A8, 2, 8, and 5. I can't imagine anything's winning here. And that 4 can be met by 8 is very annoying. So, okay, let's recheck 5 and then let's play it. A8, 2, 8, 5. We're up 6, 4. That does double capture. They go either card in 8. We have stuff to do with 8, 7, 8, 4. Which they chooses which square we play in, but even with the +1, it doesn't take our 8, 7, 8, 4 from 4, the 5, 8, 7, 3. If they go in 7, they never set anything up, so we're not scared. And if they play in 4, it's a scary one, with 5, 8, 7, 3, then 2, 6, 7, 6 in 7 holds. Now I think 8, 7, 8, 4, and 4 is our first move should also hold. But I don't see a reason to prefer it, and I think A8, 2, 8, 5 is cleaner. If it turns out that wind card is also somehow rock elemental, like, what are you going to do? Actually, we're going to check. We're going to actually check that, and there should never be any reason you check this, because this is nonsense. It should never be the case. It's dark. That card is dual elemental. What is this nonsense? Like, is this guy dual elemental? Is Beardo? Let's check his other color. He is, yeah. He gets the rock plus. Does that make a difference? That means I could play him in 5. Looks like I get comboed to hell if I play him in 5. But I had no idea. I had no idea. This just should not be the case. Yeah. I'm not even complaining about the core concept of elemental. I'm just saying the information should be visible. I should check all the other cards. Now I think dual elemental is mostly in Dragonlance. Oops, I meant to just open the image. No, not open link. Open image in new tab. But I should check all the cards we're using, because it seems like we use these cards and there's just invisible information. Okay, Landworm's the same. This one, the 1 in 1 is, actually we'll just leave them all open. No, I didn't want to make image. I wanted to open image in new tab. Now, why are you, okay. Well, I think we can, yeah. So this is Ice Holy. I assume this is only poison. Nope, I opened the wrong thing again. Sorry, I shouldn't spend these videos complaining about stuff, but there really shouldn't be hidden information. Like, it's okay to have dual elemental cards. It is not okay for it not to be visible. I had no idea rock. 87, 84 was rock. Just none. Why would I know? No, we did Marine. Do Rhinox. You're from the good old early decks. You won't screw me over, okay? That's all the cards on board. We know his other card in hand is a liar. Open image in new tab. Seal leads, and we'll change to the R. I should probably have these set on the R by default, because the blue will be showing naturally. So that's the case, and Malboro there's no way is dual elemental, but we're gonna check because we don't want to lose this game to this kind of nonsense. And Flint we should put on the blue side because we will regularly be seeing this side, yeah. Okay, so there's 3 cards that are nonsense. Here we only have 1 tie, but barring it not being 3 elementals and it being hidden, this does tie. Alright, we got a message from someone. Akiyama asks if I had any plans against 7 after 2. I did not. I guess 5873 had really good coverage. I thought that would be using up a pretty useful card of theirs. I would guess I can just play 8, 7, 8, 4, and 8. Alright, sorry for not talking. Alright, I'm gonna pause the video for a sec as I figure out my windows and respond to messages. Actually, no, we'll just start new video for the next game. Alright, so see you next time.